What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Eye Test, where we simplify your process as a fantasy football manager. Me and Bob are honestly, we're still confused. We're recovering from the NFL draft. And what better way to sort out that confusion than doing a way too early redraft mock? We got to figure out these rankings, Bob, because Sleeper's not super accurate right now.
No, they're not. Not at all. They have Bijan going in the second round right
Yeah.
now or third round. I think he'll easily be a first round pick by the time it's officially redraft season and mock draft season and when the season's beginning to start. So they got a couple things that we got to sort out, but I think generally speaking these rankings are pretty good and for the most part will be pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think besides the rookies, like the standout stars like JSN, Jameer Gibbs, Bijan, like they're kind of hiding in the rankings, but for the most part, you can scroll a little bit and just see, who's in the general area of who you want to grab. So
Yeah.
me and Bob are certainly going to be grabbing our guys here. We're not just going to be playing best player available or anything like that. But, we figured we'd take a break from Dynasty and move on. We've done plenty of rookie drafts. We haven't done a startup draft. That'll be something we do soon for Dynasty. But you can
Ooh,
go
that,
ahead back.
that'll be really fun.
Yeah, it will. It will. Those are always fun. I haven't done a startup in I guess a year. But yeah, we have a rookie draft mock draft on our YouTube page. So go ahead and watch that video. I believe we posted that 2 weeks ago. You can also go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel, guys. We are so close to 100 subscribers. We appreciate every single one of you that is a part of the journey so far. We're also putting out content daily on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can go ahead and follow us. Our social media handles are listed below in the description. Bob, you ready to start us off? Bob's going to be the 8th pick. I'm going to be the
I am.
11th because in our redraft league from home, those are our spots. We did the draft order last week. That was a hell of a time, hell of a rush. For some reason, I keep finding myself in the 10th or 11th spot for like the third year in a row.
It's honestly not a bad spot to be in, though, because you get the wraparound, and there's still a lot of premier talent at the end of the first and beginning of the second. So a lot of people actually prefer those picks, I think, in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly liked my draft the last 2 years because you said you get the wraparound. That is nice because you're essentially, if you get the right guy in the beginning of the second round, you're essentially saying that like this guy belongs in the first round too. So you can kind of get those guys.
Yeah.
So
Also,
yeah,
one thing, we are going up against the sleeper bot, so it's not individual players. Me and John are the only ones that are manually picking.
yeah, and we're like going for a good team here. Last week or 2 weeks ago,
Exactly.
we were like doing more so rankings, like where they deserve to fall, the rookies. But we're trying to build a team, and we need you guys to comment below who drafted the best team. Is it me? Is it Bob?
Yep.
Is it a sleeper bot? Hopefully not. Bob, let's get this thing started, baby.
All right, let's go. Love that sound.
Yeah, I'll
I
turn the
love
sound
that
off.
sound.
So Jamar Chase going 1-1. That's pretty interesting. I like it. Wide receivers are certainly more valuable this year than last or than 2 years ago, really.
Wow. So the way this board unfolded for me at 8 has me a little disappointed, to be honest. But because, as you know, I have Justin Jefferson in our redraft league, and I'm probably going to keep him in the first round. So I'll be getting him at 8. But just the way it is right now, I think there's one clear and obvious pick, and that's Tyreek Hill. You already have a lot of the premier. I mean, there's still premier wide receivers available, but I think Tyreek Hill is a step above guys like Diggs and CeeDee Lamb, and I'm not really willing to go Derrick Henry or anything at this point. And I'm same thing with Devontae Adams. Maybe Bijan, honestly, by this time I would draft him at this point. But I'm going to play the board a little bit here, and I actually would prefer Tyreek over Bijan. So I'm going Tyreek.
Yeah, I mean Tyreek Hill is the surefire guy that at any given moment could give you a 40-point night. So
and he was an early second round pick last year, or a mid second round pick, because there was that, like, not controversy but question of whether he was going to perform the same with the Dolphins.
Yep. It's the same reason why Devontae Adams was a late first.
Exactly.
So wow, AJ Brown going at the 110. Usually that's someone I can get at the wraparound, but
Yeah.
if that's your guy at the end of the first round, go ahead, especially if you know that I'm going to get him at the 2-2. So I'll play the board here too. I'm really a big fan this year of going after a wide receiver, especially end of the first round. I feel like I have to submit to the no running back strategy here, but we'll see who falls to me. Oh man, you know what? Maybe I just get Bijan now. Actually, I know the sleeper bots aren't going to grab him, so we'll
Yeah,
go
yeah.
we'll go Diggs. That's the benefit, and then we're gonna search Bijan here. See, this is the whole part about doing mocks now. We're all helping each other out because the more people that type out Bijan's name in this part of the draft, it's going to move his ADP up. What's his ADP now? 106, Bob. His ADP is
That's yeah,
106.
that's insane.
That's
He'll
that's the
easily,
seventh round.
yeah, I would be shocked if he's not a first round pick
Me too. Like
by
he's
the
up there with
time.
like the Saquon.
Yeah. Before I make this pick, I'm kind of
God,
surprised that
Saquon.
Nick Chubb is got picked at the 112. I would not take him at that position. Maybe he falls a little bit come, you know, real mock draft season, but that's a little surprising to me. I don't understand how Saquon is here right
Yeah,
now.
that's crazy.
And you guys like Josh Jacobs still. Again, this board is going to completely change by the time the real mock draft season is around, but honestly, I'm going to go a little lower on the rankings here, and I'm going to double up on wide receiver, and I'm going to go Amon Ra here.
And we saw it all last year. Wide receivers like were just proven to be more valuable in dynasty.
Like Dalvin Cook in the second round. Come
Yeah,
on.
that's
Like, that's
crazy.
not
How
happening.
is Saquon going after Najee, Dalvin Cook, Chubb? I mean, I guess I can see Chubb, but like I don't know. Saquon's so much younger.
Oh, it's back to me
Yeah,
now.
two
Okay.
quarterbacks are off the board. Is this like? Are you thinking Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow here? Get your quarterback.
I I'm honestly shocked that Jalen Hurts is here, to be honest.
So am
I
I.
I think Jalen Hurts is worthy of a second round pick.
Yeah.
So I think that's an easy pick for me right here. There's some other good guys on the board that I would maybe consider. Tony Pollard, I guess you could make the argument for Joe Burrow, but with Hurts's upside with rushing, I think that's an easy pick here. Maybe you want to go Garrett Wilson, but Jalen Hurts is a stud, and he's going to continue being a stud this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe Burrow does fall to me, and I was eyeing him up, but I got my eyes on another quarterback with much more rushing upside that I'm pretty confident I can get in the fourth, maybe the fifth round. It's a risky move, but
Fifth is risky because I think I know who you're talking about.
yeah. Oh, well, the only good news is I know that you won't be taking him.
Or will I? Maybe you could get a second quarterback and use him as a trade chip. You never know. You got to be thinking like that
Now,
sometimes.
do you think Garrett Wilson will be a late third round pick? I think he's at least a early to mid second at the worst.
Yeah, again, the way this board is breaking right now is really bothering me, honestly. Garrett Wilson should be drafted before guys like Dalvin Cook, Joe
Yeah.
Mixon, Ken Walker, DeAndre Swift. Like, come on, some of these rankings are really bad, but we're working with what we have. So, but yes, I think Garrett Wilson should easily be ahead of some of these guys.
And also, like for our viewers out there, keep in mind who we're talking about. Like, doesn't belong in these rounds because if for some reason this trend continues where DeAndre Swift is a 3.7, well, that's not what's crazier. Like, I mean, Mark Andrews 3.2. We don't even need to talk about that. Dalvin Cook 2.8. If you find Dalvin Cook in the second round, do not take him there. Let your other league mates do that. We're here to
Please don't.
make it easy for you guys here. So don't take Dalvin Cook in the second round. I am going to take the risk with not getting my quarterback here, and I will go Garrett Wilson
Okay.
because I'm just seeing a huge. I've said this plenty of times. He's going to have a CeeDee Lamb type of jump, And then from the mock,
You gonna go quarterback here, or are you gonna take the
I'm going to
risk?
take the risk. I'm going to take the risk. So it's a pretty big risk, but I'm going to do it.
It's
Uh,
a big risk.
I think I am stuck between DK and I'm stuck between three people. I can get my third receiver and be heavy on wide receiver, or I can even up with running back with Ramondre. You know, the Patriots, they didn't show signs this offseason that Ramondre is not going to be getting the ball next year. And I know the
Yeah.
Patriots tend to do that, or they've done it recently with previous running backs. However, it looks like they're going to stick with the guy. He truly passed the eye test last year, and I think Bill Belichick realizes that. So I'm gonna even up my running backs and take Ramondre.
I like that pick a lot. I was a little skeptical about Ramondre Stevenson going into this offseason, considering that the Patriots never seem to commit to a running back for more than 1 year. But he made it out of the entire offseason pretty much, unless they end up signing Leonard Fournette or Zeke or Kareem Hunt or someone like that, which I think is unlikely. He made it out of the offseason as one of the running backs that are in the best positions going into the season fantasy wise. So that's a great pick. And honestly, I think by the time the season comes around, he will be drafted higher than the 4-2 for
Oh
sure.
yeah, definitely, especially in our league.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we got me now. Good at quarterback. I'm very good at wide receiver. Do I want to keep going zero running back, or do I want to double down on? Yeah, do I want to double down on another wide receiver? There's some good
Triple
players here. You
down.
got Yeah, triple down.
The
Triple down. Honestly, like
Jalen Devonta stack.
I'm a big I like Devontae Smith. I just don't know if I like him here over some of the other guys.
What's your
Uh
opinion on stacking in fantasy, Bob?
I think you have to like be in redraft. I think it's not something I like really go after, but if you can get a stack like Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams that 1 year where they had like 20 touchdowns, I say go for it. But it's hard because even with the really, really productive wide receivers, you have to get a lot of touchdowns for that stack to really pay out, you know? So it's not something I normally go after, but it can be worth it in some
Mm-hmm.
cases. But I am going to double down or triple down on wide receivers here. And a guy that's a little slept on, not too much, but a little slept on. He's the wide receiver one on his own team. And I think his team will be much more improved this year with their quarterback getting a full offseason. And that is Amari Cooper.
Oh my God! I thought you were gonna go Scary Terry.
Now, I like Scary Terry, but Amari Cooper doesn't have as much target competition.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. About the stack thing, I was gonna say, I think you have like 3 to 4 quarterbacks that you're able to stack a wide receiver with in redraft. And those 4 quarterbacks are the ones that are like consistently getting you. They don't really have much off games where they're getting like single digit points. Like, they're good for a couple of touchdowns. Um, and same with the wide receiver, too. So that's like the Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase stack. I would probably it needs to be a wide receiver one. So like I'd much rather do Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown than
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts and
yeah,
Devontae Smith. So like that's a good option. Um, Mahomes and Tyreek Hill was awesome. We can't do that
yeah.
anymore. But I mean, I'm not super against Tua and Tyreek, although Tua is more prone to some off games. But that was just a thought that
I
I had.
yeah, I just don't know so much about Tyreek getting the touchdowns where I mean, getting Tua later in the draft isn't bad, but again, if you're like banking on that stack, you got to get a wide receiver quarterback combo that's going to be consistently getting
Exactly,
touchdowns.
like Mahomes Kelsey. That's a
Exactly.
great one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's me. I
It
didn't
is
even
you, but that's
realize.
okay. Wow, Chris Olave going 5'7". What a steal for
Wow.
Team 7 there.
People would be so upset in Dynasty, but this is redraft. So it is can be
You
realistic
think
that
so? You think he's a fifth
I
rounder?
maybe not a fifth rounder, but I think he's in like the 4 or 5 range. I wouldn't go for Olave before that personally. As I've talked about before, I think he's a notch below a guy like Garrett Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers is better than Derek Carr to me. So I still have Garrett Wilson by a decent margin ahead of Olave, even though I think he's good as well. Just not that, like, you know, potential wide receiver one that I think Garrett Wilson is.
Yes,
But
I agree.
so I tripled down on wide receivers. I have my stud quarterback. This is exactly how I want my draft to go at this point, and I'm okay with taking a running back here. And I like some of the names here because I think a lot of these guys are guaranteed to be getting the ball. And one of the guys that I'm higher on going into this season is still here, and he ended the season last year on a great run, and that's J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah. I'm thinking that with the not QB carousel in Baltimore, but more so like I guess it is somewhat of a carousel, more like a QB dumpster fire. Like now that that's
Yeah,
over, I think the Ravens are going to be a lot more focused, um, and their rushing game. They're going to go back to their roots, and that's their rushing game. So yeah, J.K. Dobbins, I'm pretty high on too, especially great value at the 5'8",
great value.
and for your
Like,
first running back too. I mean, that's very smart. So
yeah.
um, I need a. Oh, my Justin Fields got taken at the beginning of the 5th round. I was gonna go after him. So
Oh, that's who you were targeting?
yeah, so I think I'm gonna get like. I think I'm gonna go after Trevor Lawrence here, but I'm gonna get him in the 6th round. So I'll
I like
get.
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh man, wide receivers are pretty slim right now. I was thinking now would be the time to get it, but I'll probably just wait till the later
It's an
rounds.
ugly, ugly crop of wide receivers at this point in the draft. At this pick in particular.
I'm gonna go Miles Sanders just because he doesn't have any competition in Carolina. I think they had like the 5th best offensive line last year, the Panthers, and they might have drafted one too. Did they get
Yeah.
Skoronsky? Peters?
No, that Tennessee
Oh
did.
yeah, right. All right, well then I'll get my quarterback here with Trevor Lawrence, which I'm not upset about. He was QB 8 last year. Um, I think. Let's just double check on that real quick. Yep,
Trevor Lawrence
QB
is
eight.
a guy that, again, we were talking about like how, before last season, it was kind of like, oh, wait on the quarterbacks. And then last season came and you saw how elite some of the top quarterbacks are.
Yep.
So we're talking guys like Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow. I would even throw Trevor Lawrence in there with the step that he took last year. I think he could even be better this year. I think a top 5 quarterback out of Trevor Lawrence is not out of the question by any means. So you could get him. The quarterbacks will be coming off the board sooner, the top ones sooner this year. So you getting him here, that's a really good pick, I think.
Yeah. Ideally would have liked Justin Fields, but that's okay. Trevor Lawrence is good.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, very nice. So now we're starting to get to, we got Damian Pierce still there, guaranteed guy that's going to be getting the ball. Not a lot of competition. Ooh, I kind of like this. Although it's a little bit of a risk to me, even though I think he's going to be a target hog, the injury risk is still very real for him. Yeah, I don't think I could do it, actually. I was thinking Darren Waller,
Yeah.
but I can't do it. I can't do it.
A little
He
too
burns me
early. That's
last.
the tight end
Yeah,
trap. You don't want to fall into the tight end trap in the 6th round.
yeah, and it's like that kind of dead zone where you're like, oh, let me just fill out my roster.
Yeah. No.
But
Get your bench ready.
no, I think I'm just gonna honestly. I think I'm gonna go another wide receiver here, and a guy that I'm very high on. Have him on my dynasty team. Had a suspension last year. Think he's going to come back and do very well, regardless of the target competition. And that's Calvin Ridley.
Okay. That is your guy. Calvin Ridley is one of your guys.
Very big on Calvin Ridley. I think honestly, for a guy in the 6th round, he's a guy that could, you know, fight for wide receiver one numbers. Kind of like how he could be this year's Christian Kirk, just not Christian Kirk,
Yeah.
obviously.
It's going to be an interesting offense of pass catchers there in in Jacksonville. I think there's going to be some competition for targets, and I just don't know who it's going to favor.
Yeah, it's a definitely going to be very interesting, and there's also a lot of mouths to feed there. So, Calvin Ridley at the 6-5. Now we're back to the 7-8, and oof, I waited a little long for the second running back, but wow, this I like this a lot. I think he has a chance to go earlier here, but since the way the board broke and the way Sleeper has everyone ranked right now, I'm feeling Jameer Gibbs here.
Oh
I'm taking
man, yeah,
I'm taking Jameer Gibbs at the 7-8,
that's
and
nice. Oh, I wanted Christian Watson.
obviously he's a massive dynasty asset now. But in redraft, if you could get him here, and right now he would be my RB2. He may not soak up carries or anything like that, but he was drafted at the 12th spot in the draft, and Detroit did not take him there to not use him. So at the very least, he's going to be catching a lot of passes out of the backfield. So he should, at the bare minimum, be able to fight for like mid-range wide receiver. Running back two numbers.
And I really want to get Dalton Schultz here and fall into that tight end trap, but that's just because he has a rookie quarterback,
Yep.
and
Yep.
like they don't really have many receivers there. So like, this is crazy, but I'm like smelling a little bit of a Mahomes Kelsey Walmart version duo here with Stroud and
I
Schultz.
like that.
I don't know. So now Team 12 does have Kyle Pitts. And he only has one receiver in Jerry Judy. So I really want George Pickens on the turn. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab George Pickens now. He had a good second half of the year once Kenny Pickett started to figure it out. When he was given the keys to be the starting quarterback on the Steelers, they got a whole offseason. Mike Tomlin, still an amazing coach, grows a great offense. And George Pickens, would you agree, Bob, passed the eye test last year? I really think
I
he passed the eye test, not the stat test, but the eye test.
I think he Yeah, I think I'm letting the dynasty perspective cloud my judgment a little bit. I think George Pickens could be very productive for redraft purposes, actually. He seems to have that connection with Pickett more so than Deontay Johnson did. So I do think that Pickens is a better redraft asset than a dynasty asset.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. It really comes down to the growth of Kenny Pickett. If he can, there's people that are pretty high on him. Um, I think that's pretty natural for people to get high on like a rookie's second year. However,
Yeah,
Kenny Pickett did show some flashes. He does have rushing upside. I kind of put him in like the Daniel Jones tier right now, so it's nothing crazy. But
no.
Pickens was catching some very, very good passes last year, and
Yeah,
some not so good passes. He was still catching them. So,
he's a good receiver. And I do think the Steelers will be really improved actually.
and it looks like my plan worked. So I'm gonna get Dalton Schultz in the 8th here. So I'm pretty happy
Okay.
with that
All
one.
right. All right. Now we're back to me at the 8-5. So my starting lineup is almost completely filled out. Aside from kicker defense, obviously, I don't have a tight end currently. So let's take a gander at the tight end board right now first.
Sure.
So you got guys like Pat Fryermuth, Evan Ingram, who was really good last year, David Njoku, who I think can be really good this year with a full year of Watson being there. Question is, would I take him here over guys like
Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I couldn't take Kincaid here. There's got to be some other guys. God, the wide receivers are so deep when you're looking at it in redraft. Like, there's still guys like Traylon Burks, Michael Thomas, Brandon Cooks. Got guys that are gonna. Oh, JSN's here. Wow. This is tough. I'm actually. I think I'm gonna. No, I can't do it. No, I'm doing it. I'm taking Deshaun Watson.
Doubling up on your quarterbacks in the first 10
Yep.
picks, Bob. Explain that strategy there, or reasoning
So
rather.
So there's it's a two-part thing for me. So I've always been a big believer in drafting for future trades.
Mm,
And as we've talked about, the crop of elite quarterbacks is very small. And I'm of the belief that Deshaun Watson is going to get back up to that. Maybe not like Jalen Hurts level, but back into that like top 10, top 8 territory. So there are only so many elite quarterbacks, and not every team is going to have one. So eventually, someone's going to need a quarterback, whether it's due to injury or due to not drafting well. And I want to be prepared for that. And also, I want to be prepared for, say, if Jalen Hurts for some reason gets injured, like he got injured last year, missed a few games. I don't want to miss the playoffs because Jalen Hurts goes down for 3 or 4 games towards the end of the year.
mm,
So just more insurance. And I think the value is better there personally than taking guys like James Cook,
yeah.
Michael Thomas. Like if I wasn't already stacked at wide receiver, I probably would have taken a receiver there. And I still think there's plenty of value in the running backs where I could make up for taking Deshaun there.
I like that.
So
I really like that.
you got to think ahead. You always got to be thinking ahead. But now I am I'm still holding out on tight end. I am. I'm still going to hold out. There's some guys that I think I'll be able to get on the wraparound that I'll be okay with. So now we're looking at a running back, and this is going to be my RB3 potential flex play, perhaps. Not a lot of guys that are really tickling me at all, personally.
Oh, is this are
Not,
you about to draft Alexander Madison?
no, I'm not because I'm still
We love the Madison tickle.
the Madison Tingle. We love the Madison Tingle here, but if I didn't believe that Dalvin Cook was going to still be on the Vikings, I would take him here. But I'm not going to. I'm actually going to take a guy who I think is going to have a pretty solid floor going into this season, and that's Damian Harris.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So Damian Harris and James Cook. That's a very interesting backfield. Do you think that it's going to be like a 50-50 split?
I I don't think it's going to be 50-50. I think they're both going to have very specific roles. One pretty much where Damian Harris is going to be like the goal line guy and the red zone guy kind of. I think he'll also, work his way on other parts too. I'm just not a big James Cook guy because I don't think he's ever handled 15 carries in a game in his football career. That's at like every level. So that's very concerning for me. I would rather take Damian Harris. We saw what he did in New England a couple years ago when he was getting those red zone opportunities. And if the Bills want to keep Josh Allen healthy, for his entire career, they got to start lightening his rushing load a little bit.
Mm.
Stop rushing him up the middle on the goal line all the time. So I think that's kind of maybe what their thinking was with bringing Damian Harrison. So, I feel pretty good drafting him here, honestly.
And you know what the ninth round is for, Bob? It's you, like you said, you were drafting for future trades with Deshaun Watson. I'm thinking right now is a good time. I have Diggs, Wilson, Pickens as my wide receivers. I'm pretty happy with my running back room. Obviously, that includes Bijan being the Bijan we all hope and dream of. But I'm going to start drafting for the future here, and we're in a keeper league. I'm going to start thinking keepers. Who's someone that I think is going to be much better than ninth round value next year? Jackson Smith and Jigba. Just in case. You never know. If he has a solid outing and if he's like even fourth round value next year, that's a pretty solid keeper. So for anyone
Yeah.
keeper leagues, this is the round to start to think about that.
It's honestly good value too, to be honest. They drafted him in the first round. He's going to be playing. So there's going to be opportunities for him. It's just if he's going to make the most of those opportunities with the still crowded wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to go back to back receivers here. I really like Jahan Dotson this year. I think he's much better than 10th round value. Not saying he's like a 5th round or better pick. I think he should be somewhere in like the 8 or 7 range. So I'm going
He's getting
to What'd you say?
he's he's getting so much hype on fantasy Twitter.
I know he
It's
is.
crazy. I'm trying not to. I like him too, but I'm trying not to fall into that like herd mentality where it's like, okay, everyone's hopping on the train, so now it's my turn to time to hop on the train. You know,
Yeah. The
there's still a lot of mouths to feed in that Commanders offense, but the offense should be better than it was last year with Sam Howell under center.
And one thing that does concern me with Dotson is look at that inflated touchdown number last year. I mean, what are the
How many
odds?
touchdowns?
Yeah, 7 touchdowns. Like I think that's pretty inflated for a rookie. Like I think that is one reason that they're very high up on Jahan Dotson this year.
Yeah,
So
unless you're expecting him to be like, you know, the wide receiver one, like is he really going to take away that many opportunities from Terry? I don't think I see it happening this year.
however, if Terry were to get hurt, like Dotson could fill
Yes,
in with that wide receiver one role and he would demand all the targets. Ooh,
absolutely.
he would command all the targets.
Command. I like the
So
pun.
I'll go ahead and get Jahan Dotson here. It's
Cool.
it's a risky pick. Again, this could be one of those keeper picks. I mean, if Jahan Dotson has a breakout year, then I'm getting him in the 10th round next year.
Okay, back to me at the 10-5. So, wow. Okay, I'm pretty happy with where this fell for me for the tight end position. I think there's a couple guys here that I'm okay taking. You know, not into Cole Kmet, not into Zach Ertz, but you still got the two rookies in Kincaid and Mayer. I probably would lean Mayer between both of them because I think the Raiders offense will be more predictable in terms of opportunities for Mayer.
Yeah.
Not so sure about Kincaid in year one, but the guy that I'm really looking at and that I think if you just kind of want to not swing for the fences, but someone that has like the real upside to like maybe be league winning at the tight end position. I don't not even completely sure how to pronounce his name, but it's
Oh, Chigo?
yeah, yes, I'm going him. I'm in on that
So am
train
I,
for
dude.
sure.
That's one of my guys. I think everyone's been calling him Chig, so I think we gotta
Chig.
hop on that.
Okay. So I feel really good getting him in the 10th round.
Yeah, exactly.
He
It basically like if you don't get your tight end in the first 3 rounds, honestly, if you're not getting Andrews, Kelsey, T Hawk, you know, I recommend seeing how long you can wait out before you get a tight end. Wait for
yeah,
that tight end to fall to you.
agreed. Don't reach on a tight end like John said outside of the top dogs. And let's just take a moment before I make this pick. Allen Robinson getting drafted at the 11th 7 is utterly ridiculous.
Dude.
You have Kareem Hunt going before that, who isn't even on a team right now. It sleeper. I know it's early, but come on, we could do better
Dude,
than
team
this.
team six is struggling. They had a great first round pick in Kelsey. They got Najee, Keenan, Herbert, the Herbert Allen stack. That's tough. Godwin, no quarterback, but probably the better wide receiver on the team. Then you got Drake London, no quarterback. Rashad White, Leonard Fournette, who's not on a team, and then Eli Broken Bones Mitchell.
Wait, so going back to your stack question earlier, so this is what I'm talking about. If you're stacking Herbert and Keenan Allen isn't really a touchdown wide receiver. He's more of a possession wide receiver, short to intermediate routes, great PPR receiver, but not a guy that you really want to be stacking with Justin Herbert. It's just kind of almost limiting your upside in a way.
I agree, especially because um, I'd rather have a Herbert Eckler stack than Herbert and Allen because
Yeah,
Herbert can do the yardage and get you to the red zone. They're giving it to Eckler in the red zone.
yeah,
You know,
100%.
um,
Or going for Mike Williams, if he's
right?
on the field.
Exactly. He's much
QJ,
more of a red zone
maybe.
target because that's
So,
the thing. You want that stack to be like a touchdown stack where you're getting 6 point or 6 points for your quarterback and 4 points for your wide receiver. Or wait, no, other way around. Either way, you're getting 10 points out of just
exactly.
touchdowns alone. Then you're getting the reception point, you're getting the yardage points, all that.
Exactly.
That's what you're going for in a stack.
So, we're at the 11-8 now, and I'm going to be taking another guy. I think he's going to go maybe like a round or two before this pick, but again, sleeper, you're a little slow right now. It's okay. And I think this guy's going to be very good in year one. Not quite sure how if he can make it into the wide receiver 2 ranks in his rookie year. I doubt it, but I think he could be a very strong keeper going into next season, and that's Jordan Addison.
Yep. I knew.
You
I
know,
had a
there
feeling you were going for him.
obviously Justin Jefferson is there, T Hawk is there, but Jordan Addison immediately steps into the wide receiver 2 role there in a pass happy offense. So I think that's very good value for him at the 11-8.
So I don't know what's going on with the sleeper board. I'm wondering if it looks like we're cut off the first after the 12th round. Do you see that on your screen?
I see it go up to 13-6 and then it cuts off.
Yeah, me too. All right, well then let's just whatever happens. Basically, at this point, you're doing dart throws, you're getting your kickers and your defense. So if you guys aren't able to see what kickers and defense we get, I think that's okay for now. But I'll go ahead and stick to the strategy here. Late round dart throws. Maybe Zay Flowers will connect with Lamar Jackson in a special way. Again, there's no I'm not I don't need to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire here. His ups his upside doesn't wow me. In fact, I probably prefer the unknown upside with Zay Flowers than what I do know of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So
Wow,
I'll get Zay here.
there's a guy I'm going to be very excited to take if you don't take him here or if the bot doesn't take him here.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my second quarterback in Bryce Young.
Okay. All right. Little upside with the rookie quarterback,
Yep, exactly.
potentially. All right. So I'm very happy this guy fell to me here. I think this is a tremendous value play right before I got to start picking my tight end in defense. And we all know Javonte Williams is coming back from a serious knee injury. There's a lot more optimism now with Sean Payton saying he may not be on the PUP list come training camp time, which is massive when everyone was saying doom and gloom pretty much the entire offseason. But I still don't expect really big things from Javonte Williams this season coming off that injury. So there's only one other guy that could handle the rock in Denver because they didn't bring in anyone else. And they've already said he's more than capable of handling the starting role. And that's Samaje Perine.
Wow.
I've been on this train for a while. I think he was very efficient last year. And I think in a Sean Payton offense where he potentially is going to be the lead back, I think this is a crazy value play.
Oh, the final 2 rounds unlocked for us. That's weird how that happened. All right, cool. So we can get defense and kicker here, Bob. So fill out that roster of yours. Do you like to draft kickers before defense or the other way around?
I like to draft kickers because I think defenses are more streamable based on matchup.
Yeah.
I think if you get a guy like, I know Justin Tucker went already, so did Dan Carlson and a couple other guys. Those guys are more players that you could rely on points from given, just their history pretty much and the types of offenses that they're in, etc. So I'm going to be going kicker here. I haven't done a lot of research on my kickers yet.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Yeah. But if I am going to go one here that I know is on, an offense that's not going to score a lot of touchdowns, probably is going to get stalled out pretty frequently this year, and who is very accurate and consistent, it's Nick Folk of the Patriots.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. I like to go kickers before defense also. It seems like on top of the whole streaming aspect that you brought up, I feel like I can predict a kicker's success week in, week out than I can a defense's.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not going to get the sacks or the interceptions, and they're still going to give up like 21 points. Maybe the team is good, but that's still 21 points, and you get a fair amount of points subtracted for giving up that many points.
And I think
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I will say that when it comes to drafting kickers, what I like to do is think about offenses that can get into the red zone, but the quarterback or maybe the weapons on the team are not good enough to punch it into the end zone. So I'm thinking teams like the Falcons, they have Drake London, they got Pitts, they got Bijan to move the ball. Are they going to be, do they have the quarterback to punch it into the red zone? Um, the Broncos, not a big fan. They weren't putting up that many offensive points. So people forget that teams that score touchdowns a lot are great to have kickers also because you're getting like
Yes,
extra points too. And that's big if you can have like a
exactly.
28 to 35 point offense every week. You get a free 5 points for every just extra kick.
Yeah,
So,
and you're bound on a good offense, even like the Chiefs who score a lot of touchdowns, you're bound to run into a field goal or two as well with them just moving the ball up and down the field.
yeah. Hmm. It's never who you think it is. There's always a kicker like week 3 that just gets all the love. I'm going to go with was Jason Myers good last year? 7-5, 7-7. I mean, like I'm
I
thinking
like J
the Seahawks, like yeah, they do score touchdowns. They're in a pretty hard division. Um,
Not so much anymore actually, not this season.
all right. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do Jason Myers. I don't really have a
Okay.
reason why. It's just more so like the Seahawks have a good offense. They're not like the best. Geno Smith isn't like the best quarterback who's going to guarantee you a touchdown when they get into the red zone. So then to top it off, we'll go defense here. I would have loved to take my Eagles. If that's one position I can be a homer on in redraft, it's defense.
Yeah. And they were really good last year.
Yeah, I'll wow, the Rams, no way. I'm thinking like the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a good defensive line. Seahawks have the defensive backs that can get the interceptions. Steelers, Colts, Dolphins. I'll do the Chiefs.
Wow. So it all comes down to this, the defense. And honestly, at this point, I may, when it comes to our actual draft, I may not even draft a defense. Honestly, I may just,
Yeah.
pick someone here and then pick one up on the waiver wire. And that's also a good thing about defense is a little wisdom while we come to the end here is even the good defenses get dropped. So you could snipe a really good defense midway through the year. Like I sniped the Niners defense off the waiver wire last year.
Yep.
So you don't have to try and hit a home run with your defense. Someone's going to drop a good defense because at some points it just clogs up your roster or they have a bad matchup and they're like, oh, they're not as good as I thought they were going to be. So they get dropped for a better matchup. So just something to think about here. But I am going to pick a defense just for the hell of it. I'm going to go the Chargers here, assuming that they're healthy, which they never are. But assuming that they are, Joey Bosa healthy, Derwin James healthy, I think the Chargers defense could have a bounce back year this season.
Yep. All right. So that does it for the draft. Let's see who Mr. Irrelevant is. It's going to be Jared Goff. Oh, Miami Dolphins. All right.
Wait, okay. So let's do a little let's recap our
All
teams.
right. So, Bobby, how about you go first? What's your what's the number one sleeper on your team? Who would you get the best value of out of your team here?
I think my best value is Jameer Gibbs in base almost like the late 7th round.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think his floor, absolute floor, is mid RB2.
Yep.
So if you can get that in the 7th round, with the upside that comes with him, that's what you want to be looking at in those rounds. I also like the value that I got on Jordan Addison and Samanje P. Ryan. If my team looks like this post our actual draft, then I'm going to be ecstatic.
Yeah. That's a very good team. All right. So then how about after the 3rd round, who do you think the best performer is going to be on your team?
After the 3rd round, there's a lot. There's a couple guys here. I wouldn't be surprised again if I'm very high on Calvin Ridley this year. I think he's going to come back and be very good. I wouldn't be surprised if he outperforms Amari Cooper this year, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think they'll both kind of be in that range. I think, you know, opportunity favors Amari Cooper more because he's the clear cut wide receiver one on Cleveland, and he's not coming off, a year long suspension. But Calvin Ridley, before he got suspended, was a bona fide stud. So, and he's been keeping himself in shape. And, you know, basically as a wide receiver, you just got to run routes and, kind of just show up and just not dog it. And if he does that, he has Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball as well, which helps a lot. So I think Calvin Ridley could definitely be my best performer post round 3.
All right, and then we head on over to my team here.
Yeah, let me take a look, John.
Not the biggest fan of how my 4th and 5th rounds went, but out of the running backs that were available, not that I needed running backs, but I wasn't too high on like the receivers that were coming my way. Like for Ramondre Stevenson, instead of him, I could have gone DK. That would have been nice. I could have gone Devonta Smith, but Ramondre Stevenson is just he doesn't have any competition, and names like Metcalf and Devonta Smith do. So that was part of my thought there.
Yeah. So I obviously, like we've been saying, this is not how the board is going to break at all. But if you got a team like this, you know, you got Trevor Lawrence, potential top 5 quarterback. Bijan Robinson, he's going to be a first round pick. Ramondre Stevenson is going to carry the rock for the Patriots so much this season.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs, bona fide wide receiver one. Garrett Wilson's everyone's, darling right now that could potentially enter wide receiver one. Dalton Schultz, reliable. The only thing that I would maybe pick at is Miles Sanders being your flex,
Yeah.
but he's gonna get the ball a lot too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Miles Sanders like just does enough every year to stay in like the 5th through 7th round
Yeah.
of redrafts. Like
Yep.
this is
Yep.
probably where Miles Sanders will be drafted in your league is, maybe more towards like the middle to beginning of the 5th round. I don't see him moving up that much. But yeah, dude, Sanders just does enough to stay in like the RB dead zone.
And you got some, and your bench, you got a lot of, so you basically on your entire bench is all first or second year players.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I think
what
I do that a lot.
is that? So is that part of your strategy? You kind of look for, first or second year guys that could potentially like break out
Yep,
for
potential
your bench?
breakout talent, and the fact that we're in a keeper league. That's when I really developed that strategy, where it was like because I think the first year we did a keeper league, I had like Jamar Chase in the 6th, but that was just by
Yeah.
luck. I didn't have the strategy then. Then I learned. I was like, oh, okay, I should probably look for players in the later rounds that have the boom talent. And I forget who I had last year that I really liked, but yeah, that does it for the way too early redraft. But in reality, it's never way too early, is it? We're getting closer and
Never.
closer. Eventually, we're gonna have to change the name of these segments. Maybe we'll just take away one of the ways. So it's just
Just
like
take one way
yeah,
away.
take one way away. Well, hey guys, go ahead and comment who you think had the better team. Is it my team, Stephon Diggs, Bijan, Garrett Wilson? Is it Bobby, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra, Jalen Hurts? Those are some triple threat scores right there.
Killers.
Yeah, and
Killers.
we're gonna certainly do more mocks as we get closer to the year. Or the next time Paul goes to another Orioles game and watches them lose, we'll probably just do
I
another mock
know.
draft.
So sad being an Orioles fan. It has to be.
Well, guys, thanks again for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Again, we're so close to getting to 100 subscribers. We want to get even more than that, but let's get to 100 first, and we can't do that without your help. We appreciate every follow on our social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're putting out content daily, guys. Go ahead and give us a follow on there. We will see you next week for more fantasy content. Whatever we do, we're going to make it easy for you. Peace.
Peace.